It somehow got even crazier as the Vancouver Canucks forward Elias Pettersson has been reportedly made available by the Canucks heading into trade deadline, and it's going as far as reporters linking him in a possible trade for Mikko Rantanen. We got a lot to break down in this episode, and you're not going to want to miss it. But before we get into that, if you're enjoying this content and you don't want to miss another episode, make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. It's completely free, and we'll keep you up to date on everything to do around the Canucks. With that, we got to hop straight into this today with NHL trade deadline just under 24 hours away. We do get reports from Cam Robinson of the Elite Prospects, which I will link down in the description if you want to read the full article. But he does say, I'm hearing that Vancouver is once again listening on Elias Pettersson ahead of tomorrow's deadline. Now we know the Canucks took Elias Pettersson off their trade sheets going into the season after they traded JT Miller in the latter half of the season, I should say. But reports are saying now that they are listening to trade offers on Petey. Now looking at this, he continues on in this saying the club had hoped that moving JT Miller to New York a few weeks ago would have cleared everything up. They needed to shriek the dressing room drama to have a chance at salvaging the season. Hope was that it was about to also free Pettersson up to start playing like his old superstar self. Up until this point, that has not been the case. But teams keep calling. In previous days and weeks, the club have told them they're holding on to Pettersson for now and waiting to see things win with Miller gone. However, it appears they're open to actively listen to if there's a rich enough offer returned, make it worthwhile. Now, this is insane to see, as it says pretty much in this, and you can pause and read it again if you want. Pettersson is made available by the Canucks heading into the deadline. Now, looking at Petey, yes, Petey was once a former star on this team, and I say once because he is severely struggling recently. You can see in 22, 23, 102 points, he had Selke votes, 39 goals, 63 assists. He had an incredible first playoffs with the Canucks in 2019-20, putting up 18 points in 17 games, but he has been severely disappointing in this season with the Canucks. There's reports that he's dealing with injuries. Moving JT Miller was supposed to fix things, but it does seem like the Canucks and Pettersson's leash is getting a lot shorter. Now, looking at Petey, we know he's in year 1 of 8 on his $11.6 million contract, which does cause a lot of problems as year 1 he is starting to struggle. This is a player going into July 1st. Once July 1st hits, you can see on the second column there a no movement clause that does kick in. If Petey is traded between now and July 1st, when that second part of the contract, year 2 of the contract, does kick in, he will not be able to be moved unless he approves of the trade. This stretches from year 2 all the way to year 8. So it's going to get interesting on if the Canucks want to go out and move Petey ahead of this, as they don't want to take the risk of holding on to him. Maybe he doesn't turn things around, doesn't get back to his former self, whatever reason may be, and then you're stuck with the contract of 11.6 for the remaining 7 years on the deal. Now, looking at the contract itself, it's going to be hard to move, but we do get reports from Cam Robinson of Elite Prospects. Once again, as I said, it's going to be down in the description. Several team-sided people without any skin in the game have wondered out loud to me whether the Canucks would dangle Pettersson to Carolina in hopes of bringing Mikko Rantanen into the fold. That would be surely make a skipping work/school for the deadline day worthwhile. Now, you can take this quote in whatever way you want, but Cam Robinson just going out to name Mikko Rantanen with all the rumors flying around on Mikko Rantanen, I mean, from Pierre LeBrun himself earlier today, probably as expected, but the league sources confirmed that Carolina has received clarity from Mikko Rantanen's camp as far as not being ready to make a decision on the team's contract offer by Friday's trade deadline. Hence, Carolina talking to teams and seeing for real what the trade market is for him. It comes down to weighing best trade offers on the table versus keeping Rantanen as a rental. Let's see how it goes. So the big thing is Carolina did acquire Mikko Rantanen. We know the issue with Mikko Rantanen is he is a UFA. But if the Canucks are making Elias Pettersson a availability, we already know Carolina was in on him, but went the route of Mikko Rantanen when they tried to Marty Necas and more from Colorado to acquire him. If they wanted to circle back and want to acquire Mikko Rantanen, maybe Carolina will be more intrigued by a long-term contract, someone that's locked up for 8 years compared to a UFA that they might lose in free agency for absolutely nothing, which would be disastrous for the team. Now, looking at the fact that Mikko Rantanen's camp wants a way past deadline, it does make it hard for the Canucks to justify trading a contract that's locked up for 8 years for someone that's going to be a UFA. Now, Mikko Rantanen has been incredible in the NHL. You can pause, you can look through it, but I mean, starting back from 22-23, 55 goals, 42 goals in 49 games this year, 25 goals with the Colorado Avalanche. You can see he's a playoff performer, over a point per game in every single playoffs that he's pretty much played during his entire career, including winning a Stanley Cup, a 6'4", 28-year-old big-bodied forward that was drafted 10th overall. Mikko Rantanen on this Canucks team would be outstanding. This would be a piece that would really push them over the edge if you're not moving on from Elias Pettersson in this deal. Looking at Rantanen's contract, $9.25 million. You're not acquiring this full thing, so he does fit under the cap. I believe he'd be about $2 million under the cap, as we did see the Chicago Blackhawks retaining half of it when he went from Colorado to Carolina. So if they do acquire him, it's going to be a lot smaller of a cap hit. Plus, with the games played, it's going to be very small and around $2 million, so they can still make moves. But it does get scary fitting him in this lineup, and especially once you kind of break down the fact if Petey is gone from this top line and you don't acquire another center in this deal, you do come down the middle with Hedl, Suter, who does seem to be on the block and going to be moved, Teddy Bluger, and then someone from Abbotsford. Amon could be an option. But looking at the center depth, it does get a little shaky. The wings do look good. Boeser is a guy that's projected to be moved on from the Canucks as well. So picture this lineup without Pettersson, without Boeser, the possibility of Rantanen walking for nothing. Listen, I know a lot of the fan base is very much on two sides when it does come to Petey, a player that was once a franchise player in the Canucks, putting up nearly 40 goals, having Selke votes, 102 points, going into last year, having a bit of a down year, but still having 89 points in 82 games, just to follow up with under a point per game, 55 games, 11 goals, 24 points, assists for 35 points. What are your guys' thoughts on this? On the fact that, once again, the Canucks are making it available for teams to call and acquire on Elias Pettersson. Maybe he gets moved for it tomorrow. I hope it's not for Mikko Rantanen, unless there is a contract in place. But even then, the center depth would be terrible. That's the best way to put it. But what are your guys' thoughts? Would you move on from Petey? What would you like? Would it be Mikko Rantanen or another package? I know Dylan Cousins is a name that a lot of people like. Go down and leave a comment below. While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We'll be back with another episode. Trade deadline's going to be crazy tomorrow, so you're not going to want to miss out on that. But that'll be it for this episode. I've been your host, Mark Pye, and take care.